Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to another class of high-tech English with me, Josh, Professor Hollis. I hope you're doing well. The weather outside is not that great today, so it's a good day to stay inside and study. And that's what we're going to do. This YouTube class, I may have to end a little bit early today. So instead of finishing at 1 o'clock, I'm probably going to finish at about 12:55 because I have another class to jump right into after this. Teaching TESOL for kids, if any of you are joining me for that. So let's begin this class right now. What are we talking about this week? We are talking about social networks. Now, I want to go through a few quotes about social networks for you. The first is a big one. This is from a documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma. And of course, dilemma means problem. So, Daniel Hoverman from The Social Dilemma says, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. If you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. I think this is something that a lot of people forget about in our day-to-day lives. We use so many services for free, and we take for granted that it's free because nothing in life is really free, is it? Google. Yeah, you can use Google for free. But is it really free? You're not paying with money, but you're paying with your information, with data about yourself that Google collects and sells to other companies to advertise to you. Same with social networks. It's not free. Anything that looks free is not free. If it's free, you're the product. You are the product. I'll give a good example. And this is a wholesome, positive example. So I'm not trying to be mean about IKEA, because I think IKEA is a great company usually. But if you ever shop at IKEA and you go to the food court and you buy like a hot dog or a drink or pizza or something, it's actually really cheap. Really, really, really cheap. And the CEO wants to keep it cheap. They don't want to raise the prices. One, just because they don't want to raise the prices. They want, customers to still enjoy it. But of course, they're not just doing it because they're nice. Many, 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 many companies sell things for too cheap for a reason. It's to bring customers into their store. Nothing is free. Nothing is cheap just because a company is nice. They're doing it to bring you into their store and buy more things. These are called loss leaders. I'll write that down. So anytime a company sells something for really cheap, it's called a loss leader. Yes, they're losing money on that product, but they're making money in other ways. Nothing is free. Another good quotation that isn't particularly about social networks, but about many things in life, is by Sophocles, who says, nothing vast enters the life of mortals are us, people who can die, without a curse. So everything big that comes into our lives, even if it's very good, it doesn't come without a curse, something bad. For example, the internet is an amazing resource, an amazing tool. We're using the internet right now. CUFS, Cyberhan국we국어대학교 University of Foreign Studies, is built on the internet. Without the internet, we would not exist. But the internet has many, many dark sides to it as well. I'm sure that you can imagine. There are many dark sides to the internet. Nothing vast enters the lives of mortals without a curse. And that's the same as social networks. Yes, social networks are great, good for meeting with your friends, talking to family, but there's a curse. We're going to look at that more in just a moment. So, I want to talk about this a little bit. Discussion time. What social networks are you a part of? And how long do you spend on social networking sites every day? Let's answer this question first, then we'll move on to the other ones. So what social networks are you a part of? And how long do you spend on social network sites every day? I'll go first while you're typing. I have a Facebook account. I don't use it. Never. I don't even look at it anymore. I only have Facebook because I need Messenger. And I only need Messenger to talk to my dad. That's the only reason. One person, my dad. I talk to him on Messenger. If he changed to a different app, I would delete Facebook instantly. I do not want to have Facebook. I have Reddit, which I use quite often, maybe 2 hours a day. And I have Discord, which recently I've gotten into. And I use Discord way too much, maybe three hours a day. Too much. I know, but I can really jump into hobbies that I like. But what's different about Reddit and Discord as a social network is they're anonymous. Unlike Facebook, where people know my name and know who I am, Discord and Reddit are anonymous. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows. So I like that. Okay, so I want to hear from you. What are some social network sites that you use, and how often do you use them every day? Does Kakao Talk count? I don't know if Kakao Talk is a social network. Maybe Kakao Talk. In that case, I use Kakao Talk maybe 10 minutes a day, not much. What about you? Write in the live chat. Tell me what social networks you use, and yeah, how long do you use them? Anybody? I'm waiting for some answers. Okay, I'm seeing no answers. That's okay. While I continue to wait, let's talk about the next part, the next question. What are the positives of social networks, and what are the negatives? So this is the next question you should be thinking of. What are the positives of social networks, and what are the negatives? Okay, let me look in the live chat. I have an answer, a couple of answers. Sohi Y says, I also have a Facebook account, but I don't use it. But I use Kakao Talk a lot, 2 or 3 hours every day. Wow, 2 or 3 hours every day. You're talking to a lot of people. Wow. Yeah, I use Kakao Talk, but really only for work. So only for people to talk to me from work. That's about it. I don't know how to say your name. Ohum. I use Instagram for recording my usual days. So you film your days. That's kind of cool. Okay, interesting. I'm on camera enough teaching that I don't want to film anymore for my regular life. Filming for classes is enough for me. So yeah, this is my filming. This is my is this a social network? I don't think so. This is just me working and teaching. Unji Kim says, I think using social network is a waste of time. I also don't use it often. Yes, I think often it is, especially sites like Facebook and, in my opinion, like Instagram and things where anything can be bad. Anything can be a curse, right? Reddit has dark sides. Discord has dark sides. You can get sucked into it too much and just too absorbed with it, and that's also a big problem. Okay, so what are the positives of social networks, and what are the negatives? I want you guys to answer this before I give my answer, because I want to hear from you. What do you think are the positives of social networks, and what do you think are the negatives of social networks? What are the positives? What are the negatives? Let's see. Ohum says, but some people use social network as a way to communicate with others or show their identities. Yeah, communicating with others is a positive thing. I think it's positive to communicate with other people. That's what Lily Blossom says as well. Easily keeping in touch with others. Yeah. Omom says we can also use it in private account. So yeah, private account. That's a good example. Like I think Twitter and maybe Facebook, you can turn it private to where only your friends and family can see your account. And that's probably safer in many ways, especially for younger users. Like if you're letting your teenage kids use social networks, private accounts are probably a good idea. Yeah, again, I don't really use social networks that show my identity. I only use social networks that are anonymous, like Reddit and Discord. So I don't really worry about private mode because nobody knows who I am. Let's see. Unji Kim says the positive side is that I can hear from my friends who live far away. Yep, that's a very good thing. That's important when you have friends across the world. I mean, again, I use Messenger only for my father. I have WhatsApp, but I only use WhatsApp for my family. That's it for my family in the UK. So my family in the US, family in the UK. WhatsApp and Messenger. That's the only reasons I have those. I don't do anything else with them. I don't need to. I have Kakao Talk for work and some friends in Korea, and that's about it. Okay, yeah, what's negative? Lily says bragging. That's a negative thing, is bragging and showing off. I think that, yeah, I'm going to write a quote in the live chat because I think this is a really interesting quote. I'm going to turn it back to there so you don't have to look at my stupid face. Let's see. We often compare our lowest points to others. Let's see, like highlight reels. So this is something not exactly, I can't remember the exact quote, but it is similar to this. We often compare our lowest points to others' highlight reels. A highlight reel, okay, a reel, R-E-E-L, not R-E-A-L, R-E-E-L is a circle of film, like a long time ago before computers. When they wanted to make a movie, you had to have a big roll of film. That's called a reel, okay? So you have this roll of film to show a movie. And a highlight reel is where someone has collected all the best parts of a TV show, for example. Like if you collect all the funny parts from Friends, the TV show, or all the best parts from a movie, maybe the Avengers, you choose like the best scenes from that movie that's just 5 minutes long, 5-minute scenes. That's a highlight reel. You're showing the very best things. And that's what people post on social networks like Facebook and Instagram. So you're seeing these amazing short photos and videos and just people living amazing, beautiful lives. And we look at our lives and we think, wow, my life is not as good as that. Because we're comparing our low points or even just our regular lives to people's highlight reels. That's not their regular life. They've chosen very specifically the very nicest parts of their life to show on social networks. And that can really damage people's self-esteem. We're going to look at that more in a minute. So yeah, people bragging on social networks can hurt other people, especially younger people, I believe. Okay, you can keep answering that question if you like, but also, have you ever thought of deleting your social network account, and what is stopping you? What is stopping you from deleting your social network account? I would love to delete my Facebook account, but I can't. I might delete all my accounts one day if I just want to, I don't know, just get off the internet. But yeah, what's stopping me from deleting my social networking accounts? Mostly because I use them for gathering with people who have the same hobbies as me. If you can find people who have the same hobbies as you on some social networks like Discord, it's a great way to meet a community and talk to people who have similar interests as you. And that's what I use for Discord. Yeah, it's a great way. That's what I use it for, and that's why I can't delete it. But my goodness, I am old enough to remember life before social networks. I built my first website before Google existed. So I've been on the internet and doing things on computers for a very long time, working with HTML and just building things. And yeah, so I remember before social networks. I remember when the internet was like the Wild West, we called it, where now all the websites look the same. Everything looks the same. But in the past, it was very different internet. If you are old enough to remember using the internet in like the 90s, it was a very different place. Let's see. Lily Blossom says it's negative when it's used as an advertisement. Yeah, a lot of things on social networks, you don't even know that they're advertisements sometimes. People could be your favorite YouTubers, for example, could be using products and showing them off, and you don't know it's an advertisement. You just think, oh, they like this product. Maybe I should buy it because they like it, but maybe it's an advertisement. Tongdown76 says, oh yes, I really want to delete my Facebook account, but like you, I need that for Messenger. Yeah, it's very annoying. Also, I talked about this last week when we talked about, no, was it last week? A few weeks ago when we talked about virtual reality. If you are using Oculus VR goggles, you need a Facebook account. And if you delete your Facebook account, you can't play your games anymore. Your goggles stop working. So that seems kind of terrible. Teenage Dreams says, I deleted my YouTube app from my mobile phone because I couldn't stop watching shorts. I am watching this with my tablet PC for now. Okay, good. I'm glad that you can at least watch this. This is maybe more educational, I hope. Good. Yeah, I watch, when I have extra time, I watch too much YouTube and Netflix, but I have not had much extra time recently. But yeah, if I'm just lazy, instead of picking up a book like I should do, I usually pick up Netflix or YouTube, which is a bad habit. Okay, let's move on. Let's do this. This should be a little bit fun. We're going to do an activity in the live chat. We're going to do a quick little activity. So I want you to think about this. I want you to write in the live chat 2 truths and 1 lie about yourself. Why are we doing this? Because people on social media often lie, and it's hard to know what's the truth and what's a lie. So we're going to practice. I want you to write 2 truths and 1 lie. But try to make the lie realistic. Try to make it possible. So it's very difficult for me to know which is the lie and which is the truth. So in the live chat, write 2 truths about yourself and 1 lie about yourself. And while you're doing that, I will tell you 2 truths about me and 1 lie about me. I have to think for a second because I forgot I was going to do this. I have 2 good truths, but 1 lie? What's 1 good lie? Okay. This might be too easy for you. Okay. 2 truths and 1 lie about me. Let's go through these. I have 4 brothers. 4 brothers. No sisters. I'm the oldest. I have 3 cats. 3 cats. I have a silver Persian chinchilla. I have a pure black cat, and I have a calico cat. Calico cat are those they're like 3-colored cats, like tortoise shell we also call them. So 3 cats. My last one is I was born with only 1 kidney. Most people have 2 kidneys. I have 1 kidney. Yeah. So again, my 2 truths and 1 lie, and I'm trying to look right at the camera so you don't know what I'm lying about, is I have 4 brothers, 3 cats, 1 kidney. What's the lie? What's the lie? What am I lying about? Can you guess? And while you're guessing what I'm lying about, give me 2 truths and 1 lie about yourself in the live chat. I'll go back to the scene. Bop. Okay, Home says, I think you don't have 4 brothers. Minju Shin says 3 cats. I'll tell you in a minute. I'm not going to tell right now. Home and the others are true. We'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you after I hear from your 2 truths and 1 lie. I'm going to wait for a few more comments to come in, and then we'll go through these. Okay, so Teenage Dreams has given me 3 things. So let's go through this Teenage Dreams one. Teenage Dream Z or Teenage Dream? I think Teenage Dreams. Says, I haven't read a book, any book, for the last year. I hope that's not true. I have been to Australia before, and I have 2 sisters. This is definitely difficult. Yeah, this is very difficult. So, I haven't read a book for the last year. I have been to Australia before, and I have 2 sisters. I think the lie is I haven't read a book for the last year. I think you're a student at Cuffs, and I hope that you've read a book in the last year. So I'm going to say that's the lie. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, and I'll move on to the next one. So, Teenage Dreams, am I right? You haven't read a book in the last year. Is that your lie? Tell me in the live chat. Let's see. Chungdown76 says, I have 2 beautiful and kind girls. I have a Yorkshire, and I live in Jeju Island. I should know this because I spoke to you just the other day, didn't I? I spoke to you just the other day. I think you don't live in Jeju. I think that's the lie. I don't think you live in Jeju Island. So I'm going to say, Chungdaon, you don't live in Jeju. That's what I think is the lie. Teenage Dream says, first is true. I read books. Good. I'm glad that you read books. Oh, I'm sorry. First is lie. What? I'm confused. Yeah, first is a lie. Exactly. That's what I thought. First is a lie because you do read books. Good. I'm glad. That's good. I was right, and you read books. Positive things. Chungdaon, do you live in Jeju? Am I right that you don't live in Jeju? I think you don't. I think you have a Yorkshire, and I think you have 2 daughters, maybe. Oh, I have really bad memory. Anyone else? Chungdaon says, I don't live in Jeju, but I really want to. That's on my bucket list. I'm right. I have 2 rights. I'm good at this. Okay, good. Anybody else? Anybody else before I reveal my answer? Anybody else with their 2 truths and 1 lie? Let's see, back to here. Remember, 2 truths, 1 lie. And then I will guess which is true. I'll wait a few more seconds. If I don't see any, I'll tell you about my truths and lie. Okay, I'm not patient. I want to do this. My truth and lie. Do I have 4 brothers? Yes, I do. I have 4 brothers, and I am the oldest. My youngest brother is... I have to think about this. Let's see. I am 38. My next brother is 36. My next brother is 28, and then 25, and then 22. So my youngest brother is 22 years old. Yeah. 22, and 1 brother lives in the US and 3 brothers live in the UK. So I really do have 4 younger brothers and no sisters. Was I born with 1 kidney? Unfortunately, yes. I don't know why. I have 1 kidney. It just means that I have to drink lots of water, not eat crazy amounts of salt, and I can never be in the military. They don't want me. So I guess that's a good thing in some ways. I do not have 3 cats. I have 1 cat, and he's a very cute but angry cat. He is a silver Persian chinchilla, long-haired, angry cat. So that was the lie. I don't have 3 cats. I only have 1. Do I want 3 cats? Yeah, 3 cats would be great. Yeah, Chungdaon says, yeah, 5 boys. Yeah, crazy. 5 boys my mom has. So you can imagine that when I finally had a daughter, My mother was very happy. Finally a girl in her life. Yeah, 5 boys. Pretty crazy. Okay, if anyone else has 2 truths and 1 lie, I will look at it in the live chat in a moment. But let's move on to some good words to use when we're describing social networks or just things that are bad or good. Yeah. Oh, Zoe in the live chat says angry cat. Yes, you have no idea. This cat has a great life. I want to explain this. My cat has a good life. I give him fresh food. I cook chicken breast for him every day. He has a wonderful life. And he is always angry. I don't know why. He has such a wonderful life. He is just an angry little cat. Okay, so I want to give you some good words to describe just social networks or other things. I try to connect these words to the topic, and I think chilling is a good word to learn because when I think about social networks, sometimes it is chilling to think about how they are used against us. So chilling is to be horrifying or frightening or scary because it is so terrible. So, like, for example, it's terrible, it's bad, kind of scary how social networks advertise to us all the time. Yeah, it's a little bit scary, but it's chilling, meaning it is scary because it's terrible. It scares me how much information social networks get about you. They know about what you like to buy, where you like to go, where you like to shop. That is chilling to me that just these free websites that I join are gathering all of this personal information about me. To me, that is chilling. It scares me. It's terrible and scary because it's terrible. Yeah. Attention. Okay, so attention is the action of dealing with or taking care of someone or something. And I include this because in social networks, if you have Facebook on your phone or KakaoTalk on your phone, it is constantly alerting you about new posts from your friends, new messages. It is absorbing your attention, really sucking up your attention. And I think parents can understand this really well. Other people too, but parents will really understand me when I say you have a limited amount of attention that you can give to something every day. You do not have infinite attention. You will lose, your attention goes down to what you can pay attention to throughout the day. So, because children demand a lot of attention. So social networks too, I'm sure. When you are constantly looking at social networks and they're constantly absorbing your attention, you're running low on attention and cannot pay attention to other things you need to in life. So you're giving less attention to your personal life, to your family. Maybe you're giving less attention to your work, all because you're giving too much attention to social networks. And that's a problem. The next word is inadequacy. Adequacy, the noun, or adequate, the adjective, means to be good enough. It is good enough. This is adequate. Doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean it's bad. Adequate means enough. Just enough. So inadequate, the adjective, or inadequacy, the noun, means the feeling of not being enough, not being good enough. And I feel like social networks encourage this feeling of inadequacy. Because when you look at other people's highlight reels, remember we talked about that before, a highlight reel is where they're showing off the best parts of their life. When you're looking at other people's highlight reels, you feel inadequate. You feel like your life is not enough. You see these people going to beaches, eating at fancy restaurants. They're doing yoga and they're really skinny. How can they get so skinny? I can never lose weight. You start to feel very inadequate. And that's a very negative side of social media. I think I've done some studies about this. I've read some studies about it, that it's really dangerous, especially for like younger girls, like teenage girls, seeing all these posts of beautiful people on social networks. They feel inadequate. And due to social networks, there's higher amounts of eating disorders among young people because they feel like they need to be beautiful too, and they have eating disorders so that they can be skinny enough, and it's just negative all around. Another word I like to talk about with social networks is conditioning. So condition, the verb, is to change something or someone to act the way you want. Now, if you have done any psychology studies or even educational studies, because my major is in education, you've read about conditioning. And the biggest example of this in the past is, I believe it's called Pavlov's bell. I could be wrong about this. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I believe it's called Pavlov's bell. And Pavlov's bell is where he conditioned a dog with a bell. Ding, 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 ding. He would basically ring the bell and then feed the dog. Ring the bell and then feed the dog. And so every time the dog heard the bell, he thought he was going to get fed. So that is conditioning. We get conditioned to certain things. And we can get conditioned to social networks. I'll tell you a good example of conditioning is if you have a phone in your pocket all the time, and I keep my phone on vibrate. I don't like to have it on ring. So I keep my phone on vibrate. Sometimes I go out of the house without my phone. I just don't want my phone. And if I do, I still feel vibrations in my pocket. They're not real. Nothing is in my pocket. But I still feel the vibrations sometimes. Those are called, there's a word for this. It's called phantom vibrations. Because so many people experience this, that even when you don't have your phone in your pocket, you might still feel it vibrate because your brain is so used to that sensation that it has been conditioned to feeling it every now and then. Have you ever experienced that? Am I the only crazy one here? Okay, so that's conditioning. It's changing something or someone to act the way you want them to act. And one more thing. This is something I learned the other day that I think is Jian says, can gaslighting be a form of bad conditioning? Gaslighting, conditioning. I've never connected those two. For anybody who doesn't know what gaslighting is, it could be a form of conditioning if it's done enough. Gaslighting is a form of abuse. And it's where one person in a relationship makes the other person believe something didn't happen. They're gaslighting them and saying they're like, oh, you didn't actually say this, you said this. And you think, oh, did I say that? Is that what happened? So you're making the other person not believe. So yeah, if you do that enough, it could be conditioning. They start to not believe what they said and they only believe what you said. So yeah, I think it could be. Okay, there is something I wanted to say that I learned the other day, and it's so obvious. I should have already known it. But if you've ever played games like, I don't know, usually mobile games, mobile phone games, or I have an app for, I'm not going to show it, but I have an app for, it doesn't matter. But if you log in every day, you get points. And if you don't miss a day logging in, you get more points. So like if I log in today, I get 10 points. If I log in tomorrow, I get 20 points. If I log in the next day, 30 points, all the way up to 100 points. But if I miss even one day, whoosh, it goes back down to 10 points. So it's encouraging me to log in every single day. Any games or apps that do that to you are conditioning you. They are training you to log into their app every day. That's what they're doing. They want you to join their app every day so it becomes part of your daily routine, because it's hard to break routines. So any games that do that, that offer like bonus things for signing in every day, they're conditioning you. You're like Pavlov's dog, listening for that bell. Okay, dehumanization. Of course, human, you know, de means not, and zation is like making it into a noun. So dehumanization is the process of treating a human like an object. So yeah, so lots of major companies and social networks do this. They dehumanize people. We don't feel like humans anymore. We feel like numbers in a machine. So that can also be bad when you realize that how many people there are and how many people are living better lives than you, and how companies only treat us like numbers. We feel dehumanized. So that is another good word. Monitor. So monitor as a noun is like your computer monitor, which is the screen of your computer. But monitor as a verb is to watch over someone or something. So your social networks are always watching you. They're watching when you log in and who you contact. They're listening for keywords like brands. If you talk about certain brands like Apple or Microsoft or there's some other brands. I can't think of anything. Kia or Samsung or LG, any of these, if you're typing them into social networks, if you're talking about them, social networks are listening and they are monitoring everything you do. And they're using that to send advertisements to you or sell your information to advertisers. So yeah, they're always monitoring you. In fact, I don't have it on this computer. I used to. I usually put a piece of tape over the camera on my computer when I'm not using it, because there have been lots of studies or lots of reports that even when your green light, like mine has a green light that tells me it's recording, even when that's off, your camera might be on. Someone might have hacked you. A company might be using it to watch you. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. Because, I mean, your phones are always listening. How do you think that you can say, "Hey Siri," and it will answer? Yeah, it's always listening. Not just Siri, but they're always listening for keywords so that they can make advertisements fit to you. Even when you don't say those like, "Hey Siri," it's still listening. So yeah, it's always monitoring you, always watching you. Pretty scary. Infraction. So an infraction is a violation or breaking of a rule. The reason I'm talking about an infraction is, I mean, you can get kicked off of social media. Donald Trump got kicked off of Twitter, right? For lying too much. He had too many infractions. He broke too many rules. But there is a different kind of social media that I want to talk about. Let me jump to it real fast. Deduct, we're going to come back to this. If we have time, deduct is to take away points. Moral is to be right or good. I'm sorry, I'm going to come back to this. Okay, this is what I want to talk about. The benefits of a social credit system. What is a social credit system, you ask? Maybe you have heard about this in the news. In China, they have a social credit system where if your credits are high enough, you get perks, you get good things. But if your credits are low enough, bad things happen. Like if you have a very low social credit score, you can't fly on a plane. You can't leave the country. There are things like this. They're instituting a social credit score, not just for Facebook, but for life. So if you get too many parking tickets or speeding tickets driving, that affects your social credit score. If you get reported for your dog goes outside and poos and you don't pick up the poo, You lose points on your social credit score. I mean, real stuff like this is happening. They have cameras set up to record faces, so people are not protesting because they don't want their faces on camera. I saw a newspaper report this week where some people were knocking down the facial recognition system cameras because they disagree with them. And they were wearing masks the whole time so that nobody can see their face. So, social credit system. What are the benefits of a social credit system? What are the disadvantages? And is this more likely to cause a utopia or a dystopia? What do you think about a social credit system? Imagine if Korea had a social credit system like China does. What would the benefits of a social credit system be, where people can gain points or lose points based on how good they are, or, if they break laws or things? What are the negative sides? And do you think this will cause a utopia or a dystopia? We talked about utopia and dystopia last week, you should remember. So tell me in the live chat, what do you think are the benefits of a social credit system? And what do you think are the advantages? Anybody? Have you thought about this before? Chongdong says, I never knew about social credit system in China. That's horrifying. Yeah, pretty scary. But they're instituting it. And yeah, the people who are like people who are more rural, usually have rural means like countryside. They usually have lower social credit scores, so they can't get on airplanes. They can't fly. They're not allowed to. Yep, there's people who are losing points because they walk their dog without a leash. Things like that. Teenage Dream says, I think it's a dystopia. I don't see the social credit system can recognize everything that we do. I don't think there is a benefit after all. I always believe there's some benefit, even if it's a tiny benefit. Of course, I don't think the social credit system is a good idea. I hate the idea of being watched all the time. Like I said, the only social networks I use are anonymous ones. I don't use social credits or social networks that have my name on them. I just don't like it. I don't want to be recognized on the internet. I want to be anonymous. It's great. Not because I do bad things, but because it's just nice to be anonymous. It's nice to talk to people and you don't know if you're talking to a man or a woman. You don't know if what country they're in. Everyone is just human. Everyone is equal, and that is lovely. So what are the benefits of a social credit system or the disadvantages? I want you to think about this too. This is an interesting question. If you were creating a social credit system in Korea, what are 3 things people would get punished for? And what are 3 things people would get rewarded for? Remember, I told you that in China's social credit system, if you drive too fast and you get a ticket, that's punishment. That hurts your social credit score. If you help people, if you I don't know, if you help homeless people or if you help older people do things, maybe that's something you would get rewarded for. So what are 3 things that you would like to see people get punished for? And what are 3 things you would like to see people get rewarded for? I'm not even talking about laws. I'm not talking about, if you speed and you get caught, you should be punished. Of course, that's breaking the law. But what are things that are not the law that you think people should get punished for? For example, spitting on the street, for example. People get punished for that. People don't like that. What are some things that you don't like that if you were in charge of the social credit system in Korea, what would people get in trouble for? And what would people be rewarded for? Tell me in the live chat. I'm very, very curious. Tian says, a social credit system seems impractical and unfeasible in this country here, South Korea. But this really happens. I guess there would be more cons than pros. Yeah, I definitely think there would be more cons than pros. Absolutely. Do I think it's infeasible in Korea? No. Korea is one of the most high-tech countries in the world. If any country could do it, Korea could do it. I don't think they should. I hope they don't. But could they? Oh, yes. We have cameras everywhere. We have, I think the thing you need to remember is there already is a little bit of a social credit system in Korea, because during the worst parts of COVID-19, when, it was really encouraged, wear your mask, wear your mask, wear your mask everywhere, which I still do. But when it was really encouraged, the government said you can take pictures of people who are not wearing a mask and send it to them, and those people will get in trouble. So when we think about these social network or these like social credit systems where the cameras are watching you from the streets and things, yes, that's part of it. But there are cameras everywhere, and people are always recording things. And if they see something bad, they'll record it. I mean, it would be very easy to set up a social credit system in Korea where people report on other people. That makes it very scary. Unju Shin says, rewarded for helping people who are in need or injured. Yes, that would be very, very good. Helping people who are in need or injured. Definitely. In America, though, you can actually be punished for this. There have been cases where someone had like a heart attack or something terrible and they needed CPR, and they saved the person's life, but the person who was dying sued their rescuer, saying, you damaged my ribs. When you gave me CPR, you hurt me. So yeah, even doing nice things, you can be punished. Same. Someone got in trouble for giving the Heimlich Maneuver. The Heimlich Maneuver is when you're choking and you get your like this and you lift up on the other person. That's the Heimlich Maneuver. And they did it to somebody and that person sued them for hurting them. I cannot imagine people who do that. Like, you saved my life. I should be dead, but you saved me, but you also hurt me, so I'm going to sue you. How crazy is that? So yeah, rewarded for helping people who are in need, definitely, but also don't don't sue me, please, for helping. The U.S. is becoming more of a dystopia. In some cities, there are laws that you can get in trouble, you can get arrested or fined by the police for giving food to homeless people. If you give food to homeless people, you can get in trouble for that in some cities in the US. How crazy is that? Because they don't want homeless people to, where are they supposed to go? I mean, our country is broken. That's why we have homeless people. There shouldn't be homeless people. But now we're punishing people for being homeless? How terrible is that? Teenage Dream says, killing, hurting people, drunk driving, punishing, donating, rewarding. Yeah, so, these are all pretty much, killing people, already very bad. Yeah, you should definitely get punished for that. Drunk driving, definitely you should be punished for that. Donating, oh, that's a good one. So the more you donate, the more of a reward you get. But that can get tricky. That means that rich people always have a high social credit score. If I kill somebody and my social credit score goes down, I just need to donate more money. And then my social credit score goes back up. So it becomes a little bit dangerous when money can buy you points. Because then rich people, they don't have laws. Jian says witch hunting, like keeping track on someone's private information, collecting personal data and making it public to humiliate them. Yeah, that should definitely be punished. Yeah, that's called. I'll write this word in the live chat because you probably never heard this word before. It's not in the dictionary. Doxing, or to dox someone. Doxing is, for example, I said before, I'm a member of websites that are anonymous. You don't tell people your real name, like Reddit and Discord. You just don't need, you can tell people your real name, but you don't need to. And it is taboo. It is against the rules to dox people there. That means even if I figure out who you are, I figure out because of some things you said, I know who you are. If I post on that site, Teenage Dreams is actually this person, that is doxing Teenage Dreams. I am telling people Teenage Dreams' true identity. That is doxing somebody. And that is punished on most social networks. You're not allowed to dox people. Even if you do figure out their real identity, you shouldn't post about it. That is doxing somebody. Jung Dawn says, I was thinking about 3 things to write, but it just made me think that it's really sad that I'm watched by a camera 24/7, and I could be rewarded or punished for whatever I do. Wow, yeah, it is pretty sad. It could be. That could be the future. It could be the present for some people. Definitely sad. Okay, actually, I need to cut this lesson short a few minutes because, like I said, I have a class at 1 o'clock that I have to get ready for. If you're part of the Teaching TESOL for Kids today, I'll see you in just a few minutes, I guess. If not, I hope you have a really good day today. I hope that you don't use social media too much, social networks. And yeah, just try to enjoy real life and everything around you. Don't get sucked into social networks too much. And remember, if you're not paying for it, you're the product. Okay. Have a good day, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in another week or two. Bye.